You ever notice how we talk about purpose like it's some kind of hidden treasure? Like there's this secret map everyone else got a copy of, and you're still out here wandering, checking for clues, hoping the next thing you read or watch will finally reveal the X that marks the spot. I used to think that way too. I'd stay up late watching sermons, reading books, filling notebooks with wisdom and insight that was supposed to lead me to the answer. And yet, every time I thought I found it, it slipped right through my fingers. I would go all in on what I believed to be the answer, only to question myself later wondering if I heard correctly. It's exhausting, right? Like chasing smoke, something you can see but can't quite hold. And maybe that's the part that hurts most. Because if I can't figure out my purpose, does that mean I've missed what God put me here to do? I didn't realize it then, but that question was about to change everything. In this video, I'm reflecting on what it really means to find purpose and whether we've been looking for it in the wrong way all along. Because somewhere along the journey, I realized that maybe purpose was never supposed to feel like a riddle God expected us to solve. If you've ever felt weighed down by the pressure to figure it all out, if you've wondered why everyone else seems so certain about what they're called to do while you're still asking questions, you're not alone. Stay with me for a few minutes. Toward the end, I want to share a reflection question that's been helping me see purpose a little differently, one that might lift some of that weight off your shoulders too. It wasn't just one afternoon that led me here. It's been a series of seasons, each one convincing me this must be it. And then, somewhere down the road, I'd start wondering again if I had misread the revelation. For as long as I can remember, I've wanted to understand people, but mostly, I wanted to understand myself. Why I was so anxious, why fear had such a grip on me whenever it came time to step out. That hunger for understanding is what led me into psychology and eventually into marriage and family therapy. And in many ways, it felt right. It was healing to learn about human behavior, to sit with people in their pain, to start making sense of my own. I used my degree like therapy, not just studying the mind, but studying me. But as I got deeper into the field, I started to feel boxed in. Like because I had the degree, I was expected to follow this very specific route. Get your hours, get licensed, get clients, repeat. And the thing is, I lost those hours. Years of effort gone. I could have started over, but the thought of doing that, of repeating all the same steps just to fit back into that box, felt heavy. It felt like I'd be chasing someone else's definition of purpose instead of God's invitation to explore mine. So I stepped away. I chose to go into coaching, helping others the way my life coach helped me. That part lit something inside me. But the reality of it was, my coaching business wasn't yet paying the bills. I needed work, something steady while I figured things out. That's when a teaching opportunity came up. Funny thing, I didn't even apply for that specific role. I had gone in for a school-based social work position, but one of the principals in the interview called me later and asked if I would like to join her team as a teacher. It felt random, but it also felt divine. I thought, maybe this is the door God wants me to walk through, that maybe this is my assignment for now. So I said yes, and suddenly, I had a classroom of 28 first graders staring back at me, all different personalities, learning levels, and challenges. I wanted to be the steady voice that shaped them, the safe space they could trust. But most days felt like wrangling a circus, except I was the ringmaster with no training. By the end of most days, I sit in my car and stare at the steering wheel, completely drained. And yet, I couldn't shake this thought. I'm learning something here. even if this isn't it. I learned patience. I learned compassion. And I learned that purpose doesn't always look like clarity. Sometimes it looks like trying, discovering, and realizing what doesn't fit. Maybe that's part of the point. Maybe the journey is the purpose. The funny thing about searching for purpose is, the more I tried to define it, the smaller I started to feel inside it. Like if I couldn't name it perfectly, then maybe I didn't have one at all. There's this voice that creeps in sometimes, the one that says, you should be further along by now. And I hate to admit how often I've believed it. I look around and see people moving, building, achieving, and I wonder if I somehow missed the exit that led to the life I was supposed to have. And yet, even as I think that, something inside me whispers that maybe I'm not off track. Maybe I'm just being formed here, in the in-between. Still, it's uncomfortable because I don't fit neatly into categories anymore. I'm not the therapist with a clear title. I'm not the teacher shaping young minds in a classroom. I'm this woman standing somewhere in between what was and what will be, and that space can feel lonely. There are days I question whether I misheard God, whether I mistook my own desires for His direction. I replay those moments like old voicemails, trying to decode what He really meant. And when I can't make sense of it, I start asking bigger questions. Is purpose a destination you arrive at, or is it something you carry with you, even when the road changes? Is it possible that I haven't missed it at all? I've just been walking through different classrooms, some with desks, some with journals, all teaching me something I'll need later. That's where I usually get quiet, because I don't have all the answers. Just a deep sense that God's not done teaching me what purpose really means. The more I sit with it, the more I'm starting to see that maybe purpose was never meant to be hunted down like a prize at the end of a maze. Maybe it's been walking with me the whole time, hidden in the things I thought didn't count. Because when I think back on those chapters, counseling, teaching, coaching, every one of them carried the same heartbeat, helping people understand themselves, giving them space to feel seen, and walking with them toward healing. It just wore a different outfit each time. Somewhere along the way, I confused purpose with position. I thought if I wasn't in the exact role I envisioned, then maybe I had stepped outside of God's will. But what if purpose isn't one role at all? What if it's more like a thread, woven through every season, even the ones that didn't make sense at the time? When I think about it that way, I can almost hear God saying, nothing was wasted. You didn't take a wrong turn. You were gathering tools. Every detour taught me something. Therapy taught me how to listen. Teaching taught me how to nurture. Coaching taught me how to guide without rescuing. And through all of it, I've been learning to trust that God is more interested in who I'm becoming than in what title I'm holding. Maybe the real purpose isn't a destination to reach. It's a way of walking. Trust that He is lighting my path and guiding me forward. And somehow, that feels lighter to carry. Here's the question that's been sitting with me lately, and maybe it's one you've wrestled with too. Have we made purpose harder than God ever intended it to be? What if it's not some grand, elusive thing we're supposed to chase down, but something we can walk in, right where we are? Maybe purpose is already living in the small, quiet places we overlook, in the way you comfort a friend, or the patience you show when no one's watching, and how you love your children, your spouse, your coworkers, or even in how you care for yourself when you feel like you're running on empty. So I'll ask you this. When you think about your own journey, does purpose feel like something you have to find, or something you've already been carrying with you all along? Take a moment with that. Write it down if it helps. Sit with it. You don't have to rush the answer. Lately, I've been trying something simple. Before I start chasing answers or making new plans, I pause and ask one question. Lord, how can I walk with you here? Not where I wish I was. Not once everything makes sense, but right here. Because when I look back, the moments that carried the most purpose weren't the ones that looked impressive. They were the ones where I chose to be faithful in the middle of the uncertainty. So maybe the next step isn't to overhaul everything. Maybe it's just to ask that same question for yourself. To show up where you are, do the next small thing with intention, and trust that God can turn even this step, this quiet, ordinary moment, into something sacred. There's a verse that steadies me whenever I start to overthink. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Psalm 37:23. The steps of a good man. This isn't about moral perfection. The Hebrew word for good here, often translated as righteous, speaks of someone who's in right relationship with God, whose heart is turned toward him even when their steps aren't perfect. It's not describing a flawless person, but a faithful one, are ordered by the Lord. That means our path, our decisions, detours, even our pauses, aren't random. Ordered also means established, made firm, guided, directed. It's the image of God actively arranging and steadying our steps, like a loving father adjusting the stones on the trail so we don't stumble. It doesn't promise we'll always feel confident about where we're going. It promises that even when we don't, He's guiding the ground beneath our feet. And He delights in His way. That's my favorite part. It means God enjoys watching us walk with Him. Not just when we get it right, but while we learn, stumble, and grow. It's like a parent watching their child take their first steps, proud, gentle, full of joy, even when the steps are wobbly. And that's what helps me breathe again. Purpose isn't a finish line. It's a faithful walk with a Father who delights in every step we take toward Him. If this conversation about purpose feels heavy, please know you don't have to carry it by yourself. Even Jesus, in one of His hardest moments, asked His friends to stay close. In the garden, when His heart felt heavy, He didn't say, "I've got this." He said, "Stay here and keep watch with me." That moment reminds me that needing support doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. We were never designed to do this journey alone. Sometimes finding purpose looks less like figuring it out on your own and more like letting someone walk beside you while you do. That might look like opening up to a trusted friend, journaling through what's stirring inside you, joining a small group, finding a mentor, or praying with someone who can hold space for your questions instead of rushing you toward an answer. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to not know yet, and it's okay to need people who remind you that you're still on your way, even when you can't see the map. That's what this space, Wilderness Journey's End, is really about. A place to breathe, reflect, and remember that you're not the only one searching for clarity. We walk this road together, one honest conversation at a time, learning, unlearning, and trusting that each step, however uncertain, is still guided by grace. Maybe that's what all of this comes down to. Learning to trust that purpose isn't hiding somewhere out there. It's already growing quietly beneath our feet. You don't have to have the whole picture. You don't need to chase every open door. You just need to take the next faithful step, knowing that even when you can't see the whole path, God is still guiding the ground beneath you. And as you walk, remember, you don't have to walk alone. The wilderness feels different when you know someone else is walking beside you. So before we close, I'll leave you with this question to carry with you into the week. If purpose isn't something to find, but something you bring into the everyday moments of your life, how might that change the way you move through today? If this reflection met you somewhere deep, I'd love to hear how it's stirring your heart in the comments. We're all learning together how to walk this path one step at a time. Until next time, keep walking. And remember, you were never meant to wander forever.